Tyson, a very good morning.
Good morning, Tyson.
Good morning, guys. That was a hell of a build-up. Let's have a hell of an interview now.
Well, I wanted more for you, Tyson. I wanted more for you, but they're running out of time, them idiots. We need more of this. This is brilliant. I'm looking at the book, Transform Your Mind, Body and Goals. So, Tyson, is this all about the depression and how you overcame it?
This book is a very different book to the last time. This book's about how to transform your mind, body and goals from whatever place you're starting from. There's a piece in this book that may help you change your way of going on. You know, there's it's everything from diet, fitness regimes, training camps, mental health, how to deal with your mental health, how to deal with negative thoughts, how to deal with there's so much information in it, and it's all taken from my life and where I was at that time. And I've tried to give the readers an insight on what it's really like to be a mentally unwell person while being a sportsman.
Tyson, it's perfect timing, this lockdown, because some people don't understand. We're all talking about, can't go to the restaurant, can't go to the pub. Some people don't realise what it's doing mentally to people who miss company, talking to people, going about their daily business. This is perfect timing.
Yes, it's a tough time right now with the lockdown. 2 lockdowns within a year. It's been challenging, it's been tough. And there's probably a lot of people out there who are suffering in silence and suffering at home, and not being able to go out and socialise is a real downer for a lot of people. So hopefully this book can give people a bit of inspiration. You know, there's a lot of useful stuff in there. There's even bits where you can get interactive and write down what you want to achieve, where you want to be, and that sort of stuff. So some real useful stuff in there.
Tyson, I want to ask you, mate, I watched you yesterday, a great interview you did, I think, with Holly and Phil, and you were talking about it, and you mentioned you were out, I think you were out with your mates, and you just sat there and a penny dropped. You looked around you and you thought to yourself, I don't want to be here. Please tell us about that.
So I was out Halloween night 2017, and I was dressed in a big glow-in-the-dark skeleton suit. 28 stone one. I had a mask on, I had a pair of wellies on, and I was embarrassed of the way I looked. So I was drinking this beer through a mask. I had a moment to like an epiphany. I had a moment of sanity. I looked around me and all I could see was like young people going to university and starting their lives off where they all wanted to be, what they wanted to do. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've been a world heavyweight champion. I'm in the middle of my career. These are all starting their careers, about to. What am I doing here? I need to get back. I need to get back fit again and back well again. And for that's little moment, I had a moment of sanity. I left the bar, went home, took the suit off, went upstairs. I got on my knees, and I remember being on my knees in the bedroom. I was on my knees praying to God for help. I didn't know what to do. I was crying my eyes. I was like a child. At this point, the only place that I thought I'd end up was like in a padded room or something. I thought I'd definitely lost my marbles. And for the first time in like 2 years, I really knew that I was going to make a comeback. And I screamed down to Paris. I said, Paris! I felt like a new person when I got up off the floor. I said, tomorrow I'll start training again for a regain mission. Of course, she was used to this type of behaviour, because every time I've had a few beers, I'd be coming back and I'd be going to be the heavyweight champion of the world again. I was a boy who cried wolf, but it never happened. And I said, trust me on this one. I said, I'm not drunk. I said, I've had half a beer. I said, I've come out the place. I got up the next morning, put my sweatsuit on, and I started training. And I haven't stopped training from that day to this day, October 31st, 17 to now, November 2020.
Yeah. And Tyson, for me, I mean, coming back from 28 stone to become the heavyweight champion of the world, for me is one of the biggest and best comebacks ever. There's a lot of people struggling out there right now. Your comeback, and what advice would you give to them in feeling when they're feeling down in lockdown?
You know, it's when you're feeling down, it's only a short-lived thing. You know, sooner or later you're going to feel well again. And you know, I've been there where I woke up every day and every day was a grey day, every day was a dark day, and I wanted to die every single day. There wasn't a day that went by, I promise you, I kid you not, that I never wished for death. And I didn't think it was going to get better. Everyone's saying, it'll get better, trust me, it'll get better. I was like, when's it going to get better then? But listen, I promise everybody the grey days will turn into to sunshine days again, and you will see happiness again. But the thing that we got to do is you got to seek help. If you're struggling with mental health, to struggle on your own is terrible. It's very hard. I've been there, done that for long, all my life nearly. You must speak to friends or family or anybody you can speak to. Speak to a doctor, speak to anybody. If you can't get medical advice straight away, speak to friends or relatives or anybody you can. Because I think speaking about anything always solves your problems. Because when you keep things locked away, you're only darkening and darkening. It's only going to get deeper and deeper and worse and worse. So my advice, what helped me, was speaking to people. And I come from a family where you never talk about weakness. You never talk about you feeling down, that sort of stuff. So for the first 27 years, 28 years of my life, I was all that stuff. I didn't really want to go into it because I thought it would make me a weaker person or whatever. But I realized that coming out with it has made me a much stronger person than I could ever thought I could imagine being. Because I never ever thought that I'd be able to go on a TV show or go on a radio show, speak to millions of people and talk about my problems. So that a long time ago I would have thought would have made me a weak, vulnerable person. But now I know that speaking openly about these sort of things not only helps me with my mental health problems, but also helps the listeners as well, and people who maybe take something from that interview and think, well, if he can do it, 6'9" and 20 stone, and a heavyweight champion of the world, then surely I can come out and speak about it. But I think as men, we all think that it's like, oh, we're going to be looked upon as a bit weaker, or it makes us more vulnerable. But I think the quicker and sooner you come out and speak to somebody or get medical help, then the sooner you can return to being well again and being happy.
Yeah.
And the difference in being unhappy and unwell to being what I would class as being normal again is like it's like holidaying in Barbados to holidaying in Morecambe. It's a different zone completely. It's I have to be thankful now for breathing fresh air, and if I want to go for a coffee or a Diet Coke and that, I'm like, this is amazing. Where before I took it all for granted, it was like, oh, well, I've got this ambition, that ambition, I want to do this, want to do that. But now I'm so thankful for smaller things, because there was a long period of time where I was hearing voices in my mind and I couldn't sleep for days on end. It was crazy. It was crazy times for me. And, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy out there to have mental health problems for long periods of time. And I think at some point in everyone's life, there'll be a point where they feel a little bit down, or they feel depressed or anxious, or something will be wrong with them. So I think as humans, it's not embarrassing or shameful to reach out for help, because help is just around the corner. And the sooner you reach out for it, the better you can become.
You know what I find remarkable, Tyson, when you were talking about, you were scared to talk to anyone about it. And yet, when we talk about greatness, that second fight against Deontay, when you basically said, I'm going to take the fight to him, he's going down, I'm going to be outpower him, knock him down. And people looked at each other and thought, what? No, that can't happen. This is the hardest puncher in world boxing he's taken on. And bang, right from the first bell, I spoke to Frank Warren, and Frank, can he do it? And he smiled at me, nodded. That, for me, was amazing. And when you talk about you doubted yourself, and yet you go in that ring and you told everyone in the world what you're going to do, and you climbed through them ropes, first bell, you done it. That is a remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, for definite sure. Years ago, it was like going to a boxing fight. I was a little bit nervous, and it was like, oh, a big thing and all that sort of stuff. But after being where I've been, when you want to die and you don't want to breathe anymore, and you've lost hope and you've lost lust for life, to go in a boxing fight well and happy and fit, that's easy. Because, when you're not battling with your own mind and your own self on a daily basis, just to go and have a boxing match with somebody, especially when it's my job that I've done all my life, that's easy. It's easy work for me, and to go in there and not be mentally unwell and not have all these troubles and problems outside the ring, that's been a massive bonus for me. It's only been the last 2 years where I've really took my career seriously, because beforehand it would always be, okay, I train for a fight, after the fight go out drinking, eating rubbish, and put like 5 stone on, between 5 and 7 stone every time.
Wow.
And even for my biggest nights, the Chisora fights, the Klitschko fights, not the Wilder fights, because that was after I had this this turnaround. But even for Klitschko, I lost 6 stone 10 pounds and then fought Klitschko.
Amazing.
So I'd always been the type of person to balloon up and down. I never had no regime. I never had no routine in my life. So I'd always be up and down like a yo-yo. My mindset would be up and down, high one minute, low the next. Until I made this return, until I had this breakdown. I think having the mental breakdown was the best moment of my life. Not while I was doing it, but when I got over it, it changed me as a person, because I'm no longer that person who puts on tons of weight all the time. I'm no longer that person who is up and down every single day, 25,000 times.
Yeah, amazing.
You know, now I can have a stable life, and I have a stable life, and I train and I keep in shape all year round. I haven't really stopped training for the last 2 years. And I've been accused of being a trainaholic, a gym junkie, all these things that people would have never accused me of before. And I'm like happy to be accused of them. Yes, thank you.
Because you feel so good. Yeah.